Yeah, I'm fighting again. I'll just give you guys a scoop. I'm fighting in January.
Oh!
Win or lose, I'm done after this. This one's a little bit more intense. Fighting KSI, come on. That would degrade Conor McGregor's legacy. I would fight Deji 100%. I want an Austin rematch, but he wasn't saying yes. He was saying online, yes, 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 but then when contracts were in front of him, he was saying no, no, no. Bryce Hall versus Deji is like the dream one.
Hello and welcome back to Misfits News, both on the Misfits YouTube channel and now live on DAZN. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, as always, joined by my co-host, BL, and we have an unbelievable episode today. But before we get into all of it, BL, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Ben. Thank you so much for asking. And we have a great episode ahead of us. I'm telling you, you want to tune in till the end of it. But before we get into it, let me run you through today's topics. KSI versus Tommy Fury 2 is officially in talks. Danny Aaron's have been making headlines. And later this episode, we've got the man that Deji called out, Bryce Hall, to officially respond to him.
What a big snag, Bryce Hall, coming on the Misfits News episode today. But let's kick it off with KSI and Tommy Fury, the rematch, which I think it's very funny to say. It's officially unofficial. It's officially maybe happening. I just think that's curious, but maybe this is the best route for KSI moving forward. Maybe rematching Tommy Fury immediately is the advised strategy here for him in his next fight.
I'm just going to take it that Mams said, when the time is right, it's definitely going to happen, which excites me because I think, as you say there, this is a great path for KSI. With KSI versus Logan Paul, they drew. It was a close fight. That second fight had so much build up. It didn't happen for so long. And then when it finally did come to fruition, everyone went mental. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. This time out with Tommy Fury, with a more difficult opponent, I'd argue, this would break the internet once again. I think this would, again, be one of KSI's toughest fights to date, and I'd love to see it, but not straight away. I need to see it later on down the line.
Yeah, I think if KSI had a really emphatic performance against somebody called out Tommy Fury, then the rematch could be a little bit more logical. Because I know, yeah, KSI wants that one back. So does Jake Paul. Whoever of those two beats Tommy Fury first, I feel has the ultimate edge in this king of crossover boxing conversation.
Exactly.
But either way, speaking of Mams Taylor, did you see the leaked, or not leaked message, but the uncovered message from his post regarding the Qatar card?
Yeah, so I saw Mams posted something on the Qatar card, and the fans were very clever to be able to uncover it. They screenshot it. How would you even do that? I think they went onto screenshot and then put up the brightness, because I think he tried to like mask over the names.
So Mams tried to
got the
blur out
highlight
some of the names of the matchups. Yeah, he got the highlighter, and unfortunately he didn't highlight enough in some areas. So this was on September 25th what the early plans were for the Qatar card. So it is interesting to see how this has developed and how we've gotten what we are now arrived at. But apparently Darren Till versus Anthony Taylor was locked and loaded on the table. Danny Aaron's versus Money Kicks was going to happen. Swarms was going to be on the card. Box the G versus Waleed Sharks. And Dylan Dennis versus HS Tiki Taki was supposed to happen in Qatar.
They're all big fights. I love it all. And I tell you something, as you said there, September 25th, I believe that was sent. This obviously occurs a lot in boxing. You have an idea, a concept, and we've been sent concepts as well, and things evolve and change. It doesn't mean it may not happen down the line, but as of right now, for certain reasons, the fights aren't happening. But it's exciting to see that these matchups were put into at least the idea, the concept was made, and we could possibly see that maybe next year, maybe down another card, or maybe it's a surprise fight on this card. We never know.
Could still be happening. But either way, one of those individuals made headlines for different reasons. Danny Aaron's is back in the news cycle for a potential matchup with iDubbbz, BL. This is kind of out of left field.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter that someone commented saying that they would like to see Danny Aaron's versus iDubbbz. Mams goes, I love this. And then Danny Aaron's goes, I'm down. You know what, Ben? I think it's a really fun fight. I think it's a good one. Like, me personally, I think it's skill for skill. It could be interesting, and I think it's a good comeback fight for Danny Aaron to come back into Misfits.
And that's a good comeback fight for iDubbbz. You know, he has taken on some pretty challenging opposition, I'd say, through his crossover combat career, right? Dr. Mike was not an easy opponent, right? That guy went toe-to-toe with Chris Avila. iDubbbz fought him, in his first fight or something like that? So, I have a lot of interest in iDubbbz coming back, and Danny being back in the ring, I think would be great. And that matchup, sign me up for it. But he also made headlines for a different reason, BL. Danny Aaron's was really one of the bigger topics this week because of what he said about the original X Series 19 card. This was the canceled card in Miami, and apparently Neon versus Jack Doherty was supposed to be the main event.
Well, this is all alleged. The first time I'm hearing about it, because what a fight that could have been. I mean, it's really, again, as we say a lot on this channel as well, it's taking things back to what it was. It's getting two creators that dislike each other and getting them to sort it out in the ring. I mean, Jack Doherty has a mass of people that do not like him and that want to fight him. And Neon as well. You want to fight him. And then Neon as well is another character, which I tell you something, he usually doesn't do the fighting. It's usually his security guards that do it. So I'd be interested to see how he performs in the ring after seeing some of the sparring he did with Deji and some of those other characters.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a incredibly low-level fight, which I think is what one of those guys on the podcast said. It'd be a tough watch. Yeah, I don't think it would be a highly technical affair between Neon and Jack. I don't think there'd be a big TKO. I think it would just be both little beta males flailing their arms at each other, and then maybe we get a draw. But it is crazy because that's the first time I'm hearing it too. Who knows if that was originally what was scheduled, or if someone just said who knows what to
someone was chirping. Anthony Taylor, it was you.
It was AT with the big mouth. But talking about big mouths, we got to hear this week from a guy who makes headlines everywhere he goes. It is Bryce Hall with a response to Deji. With so many questions at who will be Deji's opponent, we thought we'd bring in the man himself, Bryce Hall, who made a couple call-outs. Bryce, how are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm chilling. I did see Deji call me out.
What was your reaction to that when you first saw that?
I was sitting on my couch, looking at my fat stomach, and he was like, "Fight me in 3 weeks," or whenever the card is, and I was like, "Yeah, this is just not gonna happen."
Fair enough. Were you surprised that he specified you as a name? Was there any reasoning for him to go at you?
No, I think that's a fight that everybody wants to see, but there's just no beef there. Yeah, I think it would just do numbers if we did fight, but I mean, I'm heavy right now. Like I weigh, my scale's right there. I could just show you. I weigh like 210 right now.
Damn. Hey,
yeah.
A lot of time off since the last one.
Hey, I got some muscle in there. It's just
it's all muscle. It's all muscle, my friend. There's no better.
Yeah, but then I don't see my six pack right now, and I'm like, fuck, wow.
I went back into hiding. Well, let's talk about that last time out, man.
Dude, I think people underestimate how much it actually hurts when you get punched.
It sucked.
Were you seeing,
dude? It sucked.
When you're healing up really well. When you walked in there and you got hit, did you see the white flashes too?
When I got knocked down for the first time, there was that, type of snap, and I came back to it, but no, for sure. It was not a fun experience.
I've never felt that before, like a white flash, and I was like, oh my God, I might get knocked out right now.
Did you, when the fight started, what was your mental state? Because I kind of disassociated a little bit. There was like a level of detachment, like right when we got going, and I was just kind of like, all right, we're in game mode.
Mine was the complete opposite of your game plan. I noticed you were trying to go in there and brawl, like just straight up in the middle, like, hey, let's just punch until someone falls down. Mine was to move around. That's what me and Lorenzo were working on, moving around. And once he gets into my range, I attack. Yeah, like this is his house. Like he's supposed to prove something. I'm like going in there just as a joke. Like this is your home. You're supposed to like show the newcomer or the intruder, like what's up. So like I'm moving around. You come to me, and then I'm like,
what surprised you the most about your BKFC fight within the 2 rounds that you got?
I was surprised about my chin, like how I actually could take some serious blows. I didn't think that I could take like that serious of blows, but when I noticed it was no joke is when he got me in that hold and uppercutted me 4 times, like right in my left eye socket. I felt like my eyesight was completely slanted, and that's why I double legged him to like buy some time. But yeah, no, I was surprised that I didn't go down. That's what I was surprised about.
And I suppose last one for me before I turn to BL for a moment is the stress and anxiety of that fight week, maybe the camp itself. Was there a different type of stress and anxiety? Because for me, I would say that this one I felt a little bit more of those nerves than like the boxing match or the karate combat one?
There was no nerves until I had my first meal. Like, so I was thinking throughout the whole camp about how hungry I was because I was dropping so much weight. I dropped 35 pounds for that fight.
Damn.
So yeah, so I was like always thinking about food, and I was always hungry, always grumpy. And then once I made weight, and I had my first meal, I was like, oh my God, wait, I'm fighting tomorrow. And then that's when everything started hitting me. And when I was in the locker room, I was watching the fights. Like as I'm getting my hands wrapped, as I'm like warming up. One of the girls that fought on my card wanted to wish me luck before I fought. And one of her teeth came out when she took out her mouth guard to wish me luck right after she fought. And I looked at like my manager, my trainer, and I was like, yo, I don't think I can do this. This is...
Was that the turning point?
Yeah, this is actually like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here again?
Yeah.
So I couldn't have backed out. Like that would have been just the most pussy thing to ever do. But like, yeah, it definitely crossed my mind, and I was questioning why I was there.
I want to dive into that slightly, why you were there. So let's turn back time a little bit, and you had your debut against Austin McBroom. What a debut that was. How did you sort of overcome that and then go into something like BKFC, which is such an extremity in comparison to boxing?
So obviously I got my ass kicked in that first fight. And
I thought it was a close fight.
And I could make an excuse and say like I didn't train, which is true. I really didn't train. I had a terrible trainer. If you watch it back, you can see that there's clearly some fight in me. Like I didn't want to give up. Most people don't have that where they just will not give up. They'll keep fighting. I wanted to do another boxing match. I challenged Austin McBroom to do a rematch, and he didn't want to do it. But I did the bare knuckle thing because I wanted to be completely different from every other social media influencer boxer, and I wanted to try something completely different. I took 2 years off, so I was like, okay, I need to come back with a bang, and then bare knuckle was the bang.
Come back with a bang, you definitely did. Because I'll tell you something, when I saw the article saying that you won that fight, I was like, oh my God, he did it. It was actually incredible. And I'm curious, did they actually ask you to come back on yet? Has there been any rumors of that conversation?
I on bare knuckle?
Yes.
I'm fighting one more. Yeah, I'm fighting again. And it's supposed to be actually, fuck it, I'll just give you guys a scoop. I'm fighting in January.
Oh wow.
January.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah, it's gonna be another bare knuckle guy. Win or lose, I'm done after this. Bare knuckle, like I'm not gonna
This
fight
is the last one.
Yeah. But this one's a little bit more intense.
Yeah, you're taking on Ben Davis, I've heard rumors of.
Yeah, no, no, I was one and done. When you say intense, what makes this one more intense than G?
I can't say like who it is or anything, but it's
Sure.
It's gonna be a guy, like a good guy.
Okay,
like,
fair enough. I like
G
it.
Perez was really good, but he was a lightweight coming up. So
now you're taking on a bigger boy.
I'm thinking of fighting at 175.
Okay, I like it.
Because I don't think I can cut down to 165 again.
Would you be? You said you're that would be done for bare knuckle. Do you think that would be done for you within boxing?
Oh no, just bare knuckle. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Well, hey, start the year off with another BKFC win, and then maybe we'll see from there.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like if I win again, it's like what can people say? Like the first one was lucky, but if I go in there and I flatline somebody, like what are people gonna say?
Exactly. What do you make of Conor McGregor now being linked up with BKFC and that brand partnership?
It's pretty sick, legendary.
Yeah,
I would definitely love Conor McGregor to be at my fight, like he was at yours.
Hey, all you got to do is call out someone that he employs.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I'd try to be like where he's like rooting for me.
And what had you be in your corner?
Not bad. Who should McGregor fight? Would you say in BKFC if Conor ever gets out of the UFC contract?
Eddie Alvarez or that guy, I forget his name, but he fights BKFC. It's who the fuck is this guy? I think his name is Jeremy or something.
Oh, Jeremy Stevens. Yeah, Lil Heathen.
Yeah, that one could be cool. But it has to be another UFC guy, I think. I don't think you give him to Mike Perry first.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that'd be too much.
Yeah. I think Conor's on his like partying, I worked my ass off in my 20s, so I can party my ass off now lifestyle. I don't even know if he's going to fight again.
Well, you asked the question whether he's going to fight again. I was actually with him the other week when I was in Marbella for Ben's fight. And when I interviewed him, he called out KSI. He said he's going to fight him for that song alone. Now, what do you make of that? Do you think that's an unrealistic fight, or do you think potentially we could see that down the line?
That would just degrade Conor McGregor's legacy. Fighting KSI, come on. Like if he's gonna not fight for years, he comes back and fights a YouTuber. Like that's not cool. He's fighting legends, beating legends, and then obviously like losing a lot because he's getting older. And then he comes back and he fights like a YouTuber boxer. You can't do that.
I like it. Well, in terms of other Misfits people maybe that could cross over to BKFC, who else in the crossover space do you think should try the bare knuckle waters?
Tom Zanetti, I think, would be good.
Yeah.
Because he's got that like wild dog. Ed Matthews.
Yeah, that's one I wrote down.
Yeah, he could probably be good at it. It's the thing. It's like more of the messy boxers, I think, not the technical ones that would do better in
BJ would be
BKFC. I mean, we saw what happened when Mike Perry went over to real boxing. Like it's different.
Completely. No, completely. All right, let's get things back to Deji and obviously the lack of bad blood that you guys have, right? Who would you want to see step in against Deji? Because obviously there's this big question. Hey, we've only got a couple weeks and he needs an opponent. Is there a name in mind that you think fits the bill?
I think Alex Wasabi.
Run the rematch?
Wasabi.
I think he needs to fight someone that he lost to in the past.
Bryce, what I want you to do actually is Deji had a moment to call you out. He had what he said. To be fair, he's called you out on multiple occasions. Let him know actually. Can you give your response to him exactly what you want him to know?
I would fight Deji 100% if the terms are right, if we agree on a weight, because I know he's very light right now. But yeah, I have no bad blood with him. I mean, I'm down to do that fight. It's just terms haven't been right. Give me more than 3 weeks notice and give me a full camp and let's do it.
Absolutely. I'd love to see that fight, but I'll tell you something. The Misfits fans have been asking for you to come on to Misfits for a while now. So if it isn't Deji, let's say that fight doesn't happen straight away. Which other fights could possibly pique your interest?
It would have to make sense, especially after January when I fight another bare knuckle fighter. Like, I don't know. It's just like when you fight and you win, you have to like align yourself to fights that make sense. I can't go in and fight Ryan Taylor now. Like I can't go and do like one of those guys. I have to do like a big fight. So it has to make sense. And it also has to make sense monetarily for me to take 3 months off of everything that I'm doing to go in and train and fight.
I think maybe a Slim and Gibb, one of those guys maybe in 2025.
I like Slim. I would do Gibb.
Yeah.
I want an Austin rematch, but he wasn't saying yes.
But he wasn't saying no
Austin.
He was saying online, yes. But then when contracts were in front of him, he was saying no.
What was he saying? Oh, this is the problem. Like, was it? He's like, oh, I want more money.
He didn't want to do bare knuckle, which is understandable. But then we said boxing as well.
And he shot that down.
Yeah.
Come on, Austin.
I mean, I think it's just because I'm not a kid anymore.
Right? Yeah. You're like, I kind of grew up.
Boxer now.
Yeah, I'm not like 21-year-old cringy Bryce Hall. Like this is.
Yeah.
Like I got some heat in my hands now.
Absolutely.
So it's like it would. I understand it because it would look really bad if he gets knocked out by me. But now, especially since he's not like really doing social media and not really like a name anymore, I think it would be like a potentially like would bring him back on the map.
Do you have a type of dream matchup for you that you'd like in boxing or any other type of discipline? Could be influencer, could be a TikToker, content creator, could be a different actual fighter. Like, who would you, if you could take anybody?
I think the Bryce Hall versus Deji is like the dream one, but I feel like we both have to get more wins. Like if he goes into this next fight and he like whoops somebody's ass like very impressively, and I go in January and I whoop this guy's ass, like that's a fight that we can definitely talk about.
That's a main event. That's a main event I want to see star in Miami.
Yeah, like that needs to be in the US for sure.
No doubt. Well, I want to change gears a little bit to Jake Paul. Obviously, you just did the podcast with him in Puerto Rico. I was curious, when you looked at him, he's several weeks out from the Mike Tyson fight. How does he look? How does he come across?
Bro, he's looking big. Like,
yeah,
he's not like the Jake that you see him. Like, he's beefy right now. It was his off day on Sunday, and I think I saw him eating like 6 pieces of pizza. Like he is just gaining weight, and it's not like fat. It's like obviously some fat, but he's built right now.
Yeah, bro's in the bulk phase. What's your early prediction?
He's looking like for Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I mean, people are gonna hate me for saying it, but like You can't bet against Jake Paul.
What do you think people would hate you for saying that? Like, I mean, I'm curious because for me, anyhow,
Like, you know,
seeing
all
it
the
from the
old
outside,
heads, like the real boxing fans, they see the legendary Mike Tyson, but this isn't the same Mike Tyson anymore.
no, I don't understand where this stigma has come. Is that Mike Tyson's going to come back and be in his prime, especially against someone
he definitely could catch Jake. He definitely could. Yeah, like the way he moves still, I think he could, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's like the amount of danger that Mike Tyson can bring to the ring now is a minute, 2 minutes worth before, you know, he just collapses, I would say. He's 58. He hasn't fought professionally in 20 years. I just don't see...
Yeah, the one against Roy
catching him.
Jones, that was exhibition,
Like an
right?
exhibition sparring, yeah.
He looked good in that.
Yeah. Hey, he fucked it up in the sparring match.
Yeah, he fucked it up in the sparring match.
I want to turn things quickly. We mentioned the name Slim and Gibb earlier. We've got a massive Qatar event coming up. What's your thoughts on that fight? You shared the same card as Gibb once. He beat up Taylor Holder, and now he's taken on Slim, possibly one of his most dangerous fights to date. What do you make of that fight? What do you make of that
And he
matchup?
fought Jake Paul, though.
Yeah, let's completely forgot about that one.
I think Slim's got it.
Oh, really? What makes you say that?
Yeah.
This is what I see. I can see Slim catching him, finishing it that way. But if it goes the distance, Gibb's gas tank is moving forward nonstop, and he doesn't lose any energy. I will give that to Gibb. Like, Gibb is one of the weirdest fighters. Like, I've never seen anyone fight like him, but it works. And his gas tank just doesn't go away.
He's a cardio machine. What other fights on that card have your attention? Is there anybody else that's going to be competing in Qatar that you're like, oh, I'm interested to see how they do?
Jarvis is taking this shit so seriously now.
Training
like,
the
he's out here in
Mayweather
Vegas.
camp.
I live in Vegas. That guy lives in the gym. He lives in the Mayweather gym.
Have you actually been able to have a chance to go to the gym and see him work?
No, but I've seen his videos.
Yeah. And he's fighting Carmel Moten, which is insane.
Like,
and even sparring Mayweather.
He's looking very higher amateur level.
Speaking of sparring and all that, who are some of the people that you're getting work in for this BKFC fight in January? Is there any big notable names that you've brought in?
The Vargas team.
Vargas team?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What about them would you say makes them Bryce Hall's selection to prep you for this?
I think you can't really train anyone for bare knuckle boxing. You could just sharpen up your tools. And I feel like that's the team that's going to sharpen up my tools.
Man, I should have gone with them.
I feel like they're the ones that like, when I trained with them, that it's really, really authentic vibes. Like, they're not doing it for the money. They're actually trying to see me get better. Like, even for my BKFC fight, I went in there a few times and I trained with them. Really good dudes. And they're all amazing boxers.
I'm curious, I guess one more question for me on the BKFC. How does it adjust your specific training? Because for me, like for instance, my flow rounds, we do hand wraps, and then the entire camp was in like 7-ounce gloves as opposed to, you know, the 14s or 16s that I do for a Misfits fight.
I sparred in 10s.
10s?
So,
okay.
And then I would hit the bag with no reps to strengthen up my hands. But it really didn't help. Like, my hands were still completely swollen. Like, my hand is like still fucked up.
Really? Still from that fight?
Yeah.
That's insane work.
The knuckle conditioning didn't work.
No, it didn't.
I was punching a pole for 2 weeks, and I was like, Coach, this is not a fucking good idea.
Like, if you saw me in the after interviews, you couldn't even see the my knuckles.
The separation.
Like, for both.
That's insane.
Jesus.
This felt like a little bit of a therapy session, Ben. We sat down and gone over the BKFC.
No, dude, I was like watching you fight. Now it doesn't matter the result, dude. Nobody has the balls to do that shit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It cut from a different cloth, I think, is people that step in that ring. I just didn't want to lose.
You didn't fight like a bum. You could have went in there and fought like a trash can and won.
Well, I think it would have helped me if I kind of embraced, like you said, the brawling mentality. I was still trying to be technical to some degree, and I think I should have abandoned that a little bit more. But
the way to go, it's like obviously the most entertaining the way you did it, but it's like, I'm going in there to not receive serious brain damage. Like, I'm going in there to like fuck somebody up, and I don't care how pretty it looks.
No, I agree. I think again, the smart approach was absolutely what you would do. Is that the same approach you're gonna do in January? Replicate, rinse, and repeat?
No.
Oh,
I have a completely different game plan, but I'm not going to say it. It's definitely not going to be.
He's going in star jumping, I've heard.
Yeah, no. I'm like getting ready for that like first second. you know? Just finish
I
it in
love
the
it.
fastest way possible.
One punch, dude. One punch. That's what we're predicting.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get the fastest knockout in BKFC history.
I
Shit.
love it. I love it. Well, before we get you out of here, BL, any last questions for our guy, Bryce Hall?
Bryce, I cannot wait to see you in the BKFC, but one question I have to ask before I let you go is, are you a boxer? Are you a fighter now?
Watch my recent BKFC fight. That speech speaks volumes.
I love it. Bryce, thank you so much for the time, sir. We wish you the best of luck in your preparation and on fight night in January. Cannot wait to see the opponent reveal and truly hope that sometime next year we get you on Misfits.
100%.
It was great to have Bryce on the Misfits channel, and he confirmed a few things for me, which got me pumped up, got me excited. It looks like he's going to be fighting in January, BKFC, confirmed now. That's a stamp on that one. And he had a response for Deji. It looks like he's not saying no to that fight. Not right now, but maybe down the line, we're going to see it happen.
I love it. Talk about a ton of confirmation. BKFC in January. Now, listen, Deji, if he walks through whoever is in front of him on the 28th of November, that would line up perfectly for maybe March, April, May. I would love to see a main event between them, but I'd love to see Bryce Hall more in the Misfits ring. What an episode of Misfits news. Some exclusives from Bryce Hall and coverage on all the latest updates in the scene. Now on DAZN and the official Misfits Boxing channel. We talked about the latest and greatest updates, some exclusives from Bryce Hall. It was a fantastic one. I've been your host, Ben the Bane Davis, joined by my co-host, BL. We cannot wait to see you in the next one.